Hi everybody, Phil Mowat from Ashtons Franchise Consulting, and I'm back with Jenna Wilson from Little Dreams Consulting. So Jenna, it was August 2022, so
Mm,
over 2 years
oh
ago
my
that we
gosh,
spoke. You obviously worked with Ashtons in 2021 and
we did.
Richard, and this is an update video. So tell us what you've been up to in the last couple of years.
That has flown. Um, yeah, so we've obviously grown the franchise, which has been amazing. I think when we spoke, we perhaps had two franchisees on board. We've now got six territories, which is really exciting. And we've probably overhauled pretty much everything since we last spoke, because we've done a lot of learning. It's been quite a journey. But yeah, I suspect we're in a very different place now to kind of, yeah, I mean, we that was 8 months in when we
Mm,
first spoke, if that was August 22. So I think we're kind of very
in a
different,
different place.
different place. Yeah.
That's interesting because I think people might come into franchising and think, oh, I'll work with a consultant and we'll get everything sorted. But actually, it is an ever-changing
Yeah.
landscape, and you do a lot of learnings from bringing on franchisees and things like that. You mentioned one question there. You mentioned territories, six
Yes.
territories.
Yeah.
Does that mean you've got six separate franchisees, or have you got a franchisee that owns a couple?
So we've retained Bristol, and then we have five franchisees who each own a territory.
Okay.
But we had our territories, if anyone's watched the previous video, we had our territory specifically mapped out for us by a specialist company
Yeah.
which then means that everyone's got the right type of territories. But actually, since we last spoke, we were only offering at the time full-time territories, whereas now actually we launched our part-time franchise probably around just over a year ago. And our two newest franchisees are both part-time.
Cool. So you brought in that opportunity probably from feedback of speaking
Yeah,
to potential people, and they
yeah.
were asking about that. So what does that look like compared with the full-time opportunity?
So obviously all the support and the mentoring and everything and the training is exactly the same, because you need that whether you have one or 100 clients ongoing. But what we realized is that obviously our target franchisees are very much career people, probably mums, probably career women. We are very happy to chat to anyone, but really it's probably going to be probably people whose little ones have gone to school and they think, hang on a minute, this career that I've sort of nurtured and created and what have you, that's not fitting in with the life that I want, for myself and my family. So, for example, our most recent franchisee is a dentist. And so that's kind of what we were wanting to kind of assist with, is that people had given us feedback in that they were like, well, I'm a doctor, or I've got a profession, and I actually still love that, but I'd love to do what you're doing as well. And so that's what led us to create the part-time
So your
opportunity.
dentist is still a dentist, plus they're doing this on top? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, she is,
Okay.
and she's a mummy as well. But yeah, that's
Busy.
basically, yeah, yeah, very busy, aren't we all? So yeah, that's what kind of led us to create the part-time opportunity. And like I said, everything is pretty much exactly the same. It's just the territory is slightly smaller, and therefore the cost is slightly lower. But everything else that you get is exactly the same as if you have a part-time or a full-time territory.
So do you see going forward, do you see the part-time model being the more popular one now? Now you've worked out your profile of ideal franchisee?
I think we always knew our kind of ideal franchisee, but I think we've probably just become more realistic about it. I'm not sure, because obviously we still have more full-time franchisees than part-time, and I think it's going to be very complementary. In my mind moving forward, I suspect, and maybe come back in 2 or 3 years and ask me, that we might have almost a 50-50 split, that there'll be some franchisees who would like the part-time, but actually our part-time franchisees plan is probably longer term to look at becoming
Become,
full-time
yeah. Yeah,
when
okay.
they're ready.
Yeah, sure. So they've got the security of their job, they bring this in and
Exactly.
then they
Yeah.
build it up and then they can transfer it across.
Yeah, and then perhaps as well, become ready to leave their previous profession. It's almost like a gentle
Mm,
bridge rather than
yeah,
a big jump.
yeah. And that's it. It's interesting because when we might work with a client about franchisee recruitment, the hardest sell, if we call it a sell, we don't want
Yeah.
to call it a sell, but is persuading someone from an employed job
Yeah.
making 40, 50, 60 grand a year to
Yeah.
suddenly lose their 4 grand a month coming into their bank account. So And I get it, it's a big mindset shift, isn't it? And it's a big risk for someone who's been employed their whole
Yeah.
life. So
I think that's probably one of the biggest changes, but we actually have a mindset coach
okay.
who does a sort of a training's probably the wrong word, but she does some work with our franchisees when they come on board to kind of help
Mm,
them with that
cool.
mindset shift. Um, and yeah, so
Mouthful.
kind what was it? So yeah, she helps them with that.
Cool.
To kind of really help them, because it is a big jump going from employees, but then on our discovery we have a video that Gemma, one of our franchisees, really kindly did for us, and she goes to get a little haircut in the middle of the day because she
Mm,
can with her work phone, so it's like a huge, your life and your career, and
mm,
just becomes sort of one enmeshed most of the time joyful
yes.
event.
Yeah, cool. So we're going to talk about the highs and lows of what you've experienced. We'll start with the lows and then we'll move on to the
Okay.
highs.
Okay.
So what's gone really badly? Like what's the worst thing that's happened and you've just gone, oh my God, why are we doing this? If that's happened.
I'm going to touch wood here. I think probably the most difficult bit was one of our founder franchisees had some very difficult personal circumstances that made it impossible for her to continue.
Mm,
And that was kind of really hard and obviously a little bit disappointing as well, because we were like, oh gosh, we're already losing one of our founder franchisees, but actually we were able to kind of work together and reach an agreement that worked for everybody.
mm,
That has, touch wood, probably I think been the lowest bit.
okay.
I
Yeah.
think having a business partner is incredibly helpful because you've kind of got someone to share, the lows and the sort of discussion, and one of us will generally pull the other one out if they're in a bit of a funk.
Mm,
And I think probably more of a learning, I would say. I think in the early days, if people came to a discovery, we were sort of already perhaps romanticizing about, oh, would you think they'd be a great franchisee? Whereas now people come to a discovery and we're like, great, let's see if they want to go through to the next stage. And then we
yeah.
almost interview at each stage now, rather than thinking everyone is going to be a right fit. We're actually now probably a lot pickier. It's probably a better word than that.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that I think that's only natural over
yeah,
time because at the start you you're eager to take
yeah,
people on, but it's the
yeah,
worst thing you can do, isn't it? So a
yeah. So
little
we've
bit
been
like
very,
when you're viewing a house and you can start seeing your furniture in there,
yeah,
that's the bad sign, isn't it? So stop thinking about the furniture.
yeah,
Okay, so and then what successes have you had? Obviously, you brought on you've got 5 franchisees, which is
yeah,
excellent.
yeah.
And is that on track with where you wanted to be, or
I think, yeah, almost actually. I think we had, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, when Liz Truss was a little bit of a ripple. A lot of people who were very interested at that stage, we had 2 or 3 were like, actually, no, this isn't right for us. But
yeah,
actually, I feel like this year we're certainly getting back on track with what we want. And we have actually 3 film meetings between now and this time next month.
excellent.
And that's with Christmas. So, that's really exciting as well. So we're really
Mm,
excited about that. So, yeah, bringing the franchisees on board, and actually the franchisees themselves are incredible. Like I'm not lucky because we've been quite selective, but the franchisees are brilliant. They've got amazing work and personal ethics, and when they all get together, we've created such an amazing culture with these like wonderful franchisees that
mm,
that's what we're very, very now when we're moving forward, we're really wanting to maintain that. And so
brilliant.
there have been people this year that we felt aren't right for us. And that's been hard because it'd be
Mm,
lovely to be like, "Oh, absolutely, yes, please come on board. Let's have some more," whereas we're just like, actually, what's right for us is the culture that we've fostered already. So,
yeah,
yeah, I'm
quality versus quantity. Then
yeah, we're really lucky. We're not looking to be the fastest growing because we're looking to be, we're looking for the quality. We're very selective about what we do. We are incredibly, all the franchisees are amazing at what they do, and we couldn't have that. And give the support that we give and the mentoring and all of that sort of thing. We couldn't give and have that if we weren't really selective about it.
yeah, amazing. So you've won a number of awards in the franchise sector, which you can talk about, but you've also the
Mm.
Association of Professional Sleep Consultants
Yeah,
members,
yeah.
which you said earlier is there's only like 10 in the world. Is that right?
Yeah, so our course has been approved by them. And there's maybe, I don't know, like 10 or 15 in the whole world that are approved. We're
Mm,
the only UK course that are approved by the Association of Professional Sleep Consultants. So that was almost like a year in the creation of all the work that went into it to make sure that we covered everything that they needed us to cover, and that we, the support that we gave was huge anyway, but actually it just meant, a little bit, extra bits here and there. So there's probably about 300 hours off the top of my head of training and support and everything that franchisees have to do before, and a number of hours of clients that they need to work with before they can apply to become members. But
Yeah.
Faye and I are both members, and now 3 of our consultants are also members as well, which is really
Cool.
massive.
So it's a huge USP for you as the franchisor, but also for the consultants as for their customers and things.
A huge benefit. Yeah, they would have to kind of do a lot of proving of things if we weren't approved by the Association of Professional Consultants. But now they can just apply because they've done our course and our course is approved, rather than having to kind of do a load of other things as well.
Amazing. So BFA, British Franchise Association, EWIF members.
Yeah.
Talk about your awards and your finalists in those awards.
Yeah, so the British Franchise Association, we reached expanding this year, which again was huge to us. So if anyone's not sure what that means, it means that the membership we had before was that we'd proven our franchise, whereas now we're in the expanding space. It kind of means that our franchisees have proven the franchise model works as well. So that was massive. So this year in itself, just with those 2 things, the BFA and Association of Professional Sleep Consultants, that's been huge for us, like really, really big achievements. But myself and Faye actually last year won the EWIF New Franchisor of the Year Award and the Pioneering Franchise in the Disruptive Franchise Awards. This year and last year we won the Corporate Livewire Awards for Wellbeing Company of the Year, and we won silver in the Best Businesswoman Awards. And then one of our franchisees, which was really amazing, was a finalist in the EWIF New Franchisee of the Year Award. So we sort of all headed up to Leeds earlier this year. So yeah, it's
success all round then. So well, we were a little bit disappointed because we obviously, you won the New Franchisor of the Year a year ago. My client Camilla won it the year before that, but we didn't have anyone this year that we could put forward. So it would have been nice to have 3 years in a row, but
it would have been
maybe next year. So
next year.
Okay, so we're talking about franchisees. What is the ideal franchisee profile, and where, for other franchisors that might be watching this or future franchisors, where are you advertising, or where are you targeting these type of people?
So for us, obviously, we'll happily chat to anyone who is interested in what we do. We are very much looking for people who are compassionate, who are empathetic, who are very resilient, who are very hardworking, who want a flexible career that they can be proud of, but that also have incredibly high standards. So the typical franchisee that we're looking for are career people, probably career women who have a profession, have a career, and then probably have children and think, or are planning to do that and think, this isn't going to work with what I'm doing now. Obviously, I was a solicitor previously, had my middle child and realized that wasn't a great fit. Faye was a mental health social worker. We've got financial crime analysts, dentists, those sorts of people. Obviously, very happy to speak to men as well, but it's most likely to be mummies who have a career and think, this isn't going to work with the lifestyle that I want for my family. I want a career that I can be proud of, because that's part of me. But actually, I also want to be present. I want to go to all the school things. I want to go to all the events. I want to be there without having to sacrifice my career. So we're looking, that's the biggest benefit to our franchise, is the flexibility of it.
So the 5 that have joined, where have they come from? How have you found those 5?
So a couple were clients, previous clients of ours. And look, we get a lot of interest from previous clients because I think they've been through the process and they feel so strongly about what we do. Social media and events.
Which channels specifically?
We specifically mostly Instagram. We are on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok, but
Instagram's where it's at.
Instagram's really where it's at.
More for, I guess, the demographic of the people that you're after.
Exactly.
On Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. So people talk about different ages and what have you. So Instagram seems to be the most successful for us.
And what are you doing on Instagram? Are you doing videos, or are you doing pictures, or are you doing quotes, or a mixture of everything?
We're doing everything. So we we had some training from a social media expert in relation to our page. Everything's actually changing up in January. So at the moment, we have 4 posts a week. All the franchisees are the same. We have a reel, we have like a carousel, we have testimonials, and we also have, well, both blogs and remix reels, but everything's going to be changing up in January. So you watch our page in January, you can see what everyone's doing in January. Yeah, and then we do, we make sure we have lots of stories. We need to sort out our highlights, so don't look at our highlights, but we'll be sorting out our highlights. So, we kind of try and do everything on, social media that follows the elusive algorithm.
Yes, cool. Okay. So final question then. So what have you learned over the last couple of years? What's the biggest things that
Oh
have
Lord.
gone, oh my God, this is like wasn't expecting this and I've learned this.
How long have you got? The last 2 years, really, they've just been constant learning, and I feel like that is one of the joys, or otherwise, of being a business owner, is that you've got to constantly be sort of standing outside of your business and company and going, right, what's working, what's not. I think probably the biggest thing that's changed is, firstly, maybe our confidence. Actually, we've had a couple of comments on it in a nice way when we were at the EWIF Awards. People were saying, oh my gosh, last time we saw you, you were relatively, you were the new franchisors, and actually now your attitude and your confidence is
Were you
just
dancing on the
insane.
stage, were you, like caterpillaring onto the stage?
Have you seen the video?
I'll watch it now.
On YouTube. No, probably our recruitment processes and the things that we do, and I guess how we collaborate a little bit more with the franchisees as well. I think we're just a lot more confident in what we think is right for our recruitment and our franchise. And I think, yeah, the biggest thing has probably been our recruitment process. It's a lot stricter than it was.
Yeah. And seeing your franchisees having success has given you the confidence, and it's given you the confidence to say no to people, and it's that just confidence breeds confidence, doesn't it, in a good way. So
yeah, absolutely. So I think that we're probably a lot more confident in our guts now as well. We'll both be like, what did you think? And we'll both know, little things even that we're like, I can see where this is going. So, yeah, that
what's
if I had
the
to
red
choose.
flags then? What's the red flags of a franchisee that you won't take on?
So I guess we need people who are, sometimes people are like, oh, I want to do this is because, I want to start winding down. And I'm like, no, that's not what we're looking for. We are looking for true business owners, people who are really wanting to grow, really wanting to push forward, and have resilience as well. So that's, a big thing for us. Probably initially we were looking more about people who we felt would be really good at doing the sleep work, whereas actually we found that we can teach that much more easily than we can teach or foster, for example, resilience or a work ethic, that sort of thing. So we're now kind of looking much more than we were about people who also want to be business women or business people as well, not just looking at kind of the sleep side of things, because obviously that's 50%. There's a lot of other 50% that you need to be able to do.
That's interesting, because I think employers are now, they're realizing that it's about the attitude of someone, isn't it? Not necessarily the skills, because skills can be taught. So if someone's got the right mindset and the right attitude, then they're going to go further than someone who is fully qualified, sort of thing. So cool. And final question, obviously new amazing plans for Instagram, but what else is going on in 2025?
Oh, well, obviously Faye's in the Falklands at the minute. She has no Wi-Fi. So we actually couldn't have our planning meeting as we normally would in December. We've got that booked in for the first week of January. But
when
I
she
think
does have
Wi-Fi, I mean, I'm like, is she in the Falklands? She has sent me photos, to be fair, when she's had Wi-Fi. But more growth. More collaborations this year. We've had some amazing collaborations with people like Scandibal and the Fine Bedding Company. We collaborated with Jojo Maman Bebe and co-created a sleep guide for their website. So kind of more collaborations. I think probably more meetups for the franchisees as well, but there are one or two really quite big plans that I can't talk about yet. So
cool.
Yeah,
we'll
watch this
keep our eyes
space.
peeled.
Yeah, I do.
Perfect. All right, well, lovely to talk to you again, Jenna.
You too.
And perhaps speak in a couple of years again, and we'll see where you're up to then.
We are.
So
Exciting.
thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.